Membrane integrity is improving.
Yeah, we'll better pause it here. This in no way reflects what my average day at work is like. This absolutely would not happen. You would not see this down a microscope. Let's face it, it's just an excuse to get giant sharks eating people.
Let's start with, what's your name, where do you work and what do you do?
My name's Dr. Steve Cummings. I work at Atto Diagnostics and a bit of Atto Life, and I do lots of scientific things. I do some pharmacogenomics, I do some genotyping for lifestyle, I do some viral testing, even do some relationship testing. Depends what I'm needed to do at that particular time.
And what's your qualifications?
I've got a degree in animal biology, I've got a PhD in animal behaviour, I did several postdocs in genetics, and I've been working here for quite a few years now.
And what is pharmacogenomics?
Pharmacogenomics is it's a fairly new and exciting branch of science where we can look at an individual's DNA and we can look at particular genes that influence how that person will respond to or metabolize medicines, chemotherapy, that sort of thing. The view is to tailor that person's treatment to their genotype.
In 10 years' time, do you think it will be standard practice that most of the population will have this pharmacogenetics test prior to being given a medication?
I would hope so, yes. I think it's got a lot of potential. I think lots of health providers are looking at this for the future. Clip number 1, Jurassic Park, a classic. If anyone's not seen this film, it's about cloning dinosaurs to create a dinosaur theme park. Some would say that's an ill-advised idea.
Where do you get 100 million year old dinosaur blood? Shh.
What? What? Oh, Mr. DNA, where did you come from? From your blood. Just one drop of your blood contains
Pause.
billions of...
Mr. DNA, yes. Mr. DNA is an absolutely brilliant explanation of DNA. I've given talks in schools before where children have asked me about Mr. DNA and said, oh yeah, it was really exciting. I learned a lot about DNA there. It's a really good explanation of DNA and how it basically functions within an organism.
Sometimes, after biting a dinosaur, the mosquito would land on the branch of a tree and get stuck in the sap. After a long time, the tree sap would get hard and become fossilized, just like a dinosaur bone, preserving the mosquito inside.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. Absolutely love the idea of getting dinosaur DNA from a mosquito. In reality, it probably wouldn't work very well. It's hard enough to preserve DNA in a freezer, let alone in a mosquito's gut. For 120 million years or something, it would degrade very rapidly in a mosquito's gut, even if the mosquito was encased in amber.
Can you get enough DNA just from a drop?
You can get plenty of DNA from a drop, absolutely stacks of DNA, as long as the drop contains good quality DNA.
Using sophisticated techniques, they extract the preserved blood from the mosquito and, bingo, dino DNA. We use the complete DNA of a frog to fill in the holes and complete the code.
Pause. Well, this is kind of over 30 years ago, and even today we could not do any of this. But it is science fiction after all, and it's well thought out. The bit where they're filling in the gaps in the DNA with frogs never really made a whole lot of sense to me. I believe in the book they do use more closely related animals like chickens and things like that as well. In reality, you'd have a very, very hard job creating a dinosaur from tiny fragments of dinosaur DNA and frog DNA. I'd love to believe it was possible. I'd love to see dinosaurs wandering around. For authenticity, I'd probably give it a 4. For imagination, I'd give it a 10. It's great. Okay, this film is Gattaca, and it's all about how your DNA is going to affect your outcomes in life. How only people with perfect DNA for certain tasks will be allowed to basically exist. It's quite an interesting film.
Antonio's sperm. After screening, we are left, as you see, with 2 healthy boys and 2 very healthy girls. Naturally, no critical predispositions to any of the major inheritable diseases. All that remains is to select the most compatible candidate.
Yeah, I mean, genetics can only tell you so much. Obviously, there are certain conditions that you can test for. Things like breast cancer in some forms can be greatly influenced by your genetic makeup. I'm not entirely sure you can just look at someone's DNA and that gives you the perfect answer of what they're going to be like.
What about colour of hair, colour of eyes, for example?
Colour of hair and colour of eyes, a lot more predictable. That's under the control of a relatively small number of genes. So you could look at them and you could get a fairly good impression of what someone's hair and eye colour is going to be like.
Congratulations.
Well, what about the interview?
That was it.
And pause. Yes, a urine test. Firstly, I would say that you can get DNA from urine. It's not a great source of DNA, but it's possible, and we've done it quite a few times. We once got asked to get a DNA profile from an individual who was relieving themselves in the company's kettle. Not our company's kettle, but another company's kettle. And yeah, we got a fairly nice profile, and we were able to identify the individual concerned.
Does that mean that everyone else in the company had to do a DNA test?
Most people were very happy to give a DNA sample to prove it wasn't them. One individual was not happy to give the DNA sample and left the company. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions from that.
And why is it tricky to get DNA from urine?
It's not a great source of DNA. There are lots of other things in urine which can prevent you getting a good quality DNA. It's in terms of biological materials, it's not the best, but I think there are worse.
What are the best?
Buccal swabs are absolutely fantastic for getting DNA. They're just swabs from the inside of your cheek. Any kind of tissue, hair roots are absolutely brilliant. We've got DNA profiles from just about every tissue that you can think of. Gattaca is, I would say, actually quite thought-provoking, quite authentic. I think the point of it is not necessarily it's scientifically accurate. It's more the questions it raises. This appears to be a clip of The Amazing Spiderman with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. In this clip, Peter Parker gets bitten by a radioactive spider. Okay, let's go. Pause it there, yes. Yeah, this is not equipment we have in our laboratory, I think it's fair to say. I think they're trying to, if I remember right, they're trying to make super strong cable from genetically modified spider silk. Yeah, we don't have any of this equipment in our lab. No, we couldn't do that. It's a nice idea, given that spider silk is so strong.
Can you think of any examples in real life where animal architectural designs have influenced like designs for people?
I think something like a honeycomb is being used very regularly. That's a very strong shape.
Give me the badge. Give it to me.
Oh, here comes the spider.
Sorry.
Oh. Pause it there, I think. Yes, I think, yes. The chances of developing superpowers from a radioactive spider are slim. I would say slim. I'm not entirely sure how it would work. Classic superhero origin, really good fun. Scientifically, I'm not sure Peter Parker is going to start shooting webs from his wrists. The lab looks really nice, I've got to say. Some of the clothing in the lab, I'm not sure you'd find that in many labs, but it looks really nicely appointed lab. Spiders typically don't bite unless they're provoked, but that one's obviously very angry, probably from being irradiated.
What would you rate this on authenticity?
I think on authenticity, we're probably looking at maybe a 2. On entertainment value, much higher than that. Deep Blue Sea is an action thriller in which sharks are genetically enhanced in order to produce a cure for Alzheimer's. As far as I'm aware, this has never been done in the real world.
And what you're looking for here is lightning in a bottle. Membrane integrity is improving.
Yeah, we'll better pause it here. This in no way reflects what my average day at work is like. This absolutely would not happen. You would not see this down a microscope. You would not see lightning, neurons magically reactivated. This would not happen. Let's face it, it's just an excuse to get giant sharks eating people.
Like, do people find cures to diseases in a way a bit like this, maybe over more time?
Certainly, I think it would be foolish to be narrow-minded about how we look for cures for diseases. I'm not entirely sure shark brains are the way forward, especially not giant genetically enhanced mako shark brains. If we had the technology to produce super intelligent sharks, I kind of hope we'd use that to produce super intelligent politicians or something rather than these.
Are you impressed?
Overly impressed.
6.560 seconds.
All right. You did it, pal. You did it.
Yeah, pause it there. Absolutely no smoking in the laboratory. It's a good advert for not smoking in the laboratory, especially one with genetically modified super sharks.